Welcome back, everyone. It is Chili here from A Hero's Guide to Asgartha, and I am talking a little bit about the impact Seeds of Unity release is going to have on all of us. Today is the 9th of February, should have been the release of Seeds of Unity, but we know that is not the case. Now, I don't know if Equinox has done something to make me a little bit happy to try to appease my personal qualm with this issue, but they have used the full art card of my reveal, which absolutely love. I will be using Mr. Sullivan for sure in my builds for any of the Orders heroes. But let's go through what the announcement was. Then this announcement was released last week, and unfortunately I have been working, so I have not had the chance to give you my take on it. So we've just learnt of a production delay that will impact our ability to deliver Seeds of Unity on the originally announced dates for both players and retailers. While we have since worked with our manufacturing partner to resolve this setback, we're still deeply disappointed to have to share this news. We are now working closely together to accelerate the upcoming shipping stages and make up for the delay. Now, for me, most of you know that I'm a member of the Musubi, and we get to hear a little bit about what's going on, but this was also news to us in terms of what we were told. We were told just basically a few hours before everyone else, not even 24 hours. Like, I work in a corporate environment, right? And for me, to say that something is going to be delayed by more than the announcement time. This was announced to Equinox, or Equinox found out about this from their manufacturing partners a week before release, saying that there's going to be 2 to 3 week delay, or even more than that. That's really poor form for the manufacturers. I understand that there are usually delays in terms of things that happen over the Christmas period and the break that people take over that time, but you build that into your production framework. Equinox is almost like putting themselves up for scrutiny here, almost crucifying themselves in one way by basically not saying that it was not their fault. They're kind of saying it's not their fault, but it sort of is. My mind goes, more ownership should be done by the manufacturing partner to say you should not have agreed to a delivery with this delay if you knew a delay was going to happen, or you build that knowing that you're going to have less workers in your workshop, whatever it may be. But it makes Equinox look silly that this happens. But I'll also say it is not just Equinox alone. There is a ton of card games that are having this release impact now. And it may happen every year, or it may be happening today, or it may be happening just this year. But the fact that it's happening does not mean that we should devalue the impact it has on people. I do believe that Equinox has done a great job by at least coming forward with this announcement, but I hope that they didn't know about it much earlier and chose not to reveal it. I don't think so. Equinox has been pretty good at being quite transparent, many times to their own detriment, right? But for me, let's go through and go through all the impacts this has, and it looks like what they're doing is almost having a staggered launch. This is quite a hefty delay, is the way that I would call it. So this production setback also requires us to postpone the launch of the Roots of Corruption campaign. To provide you with a clear view of the weeks ahead, here is the updated schedule of upcoming dates. So the Seeds of Unity roadmap, and it was updated on the 2nd of February, so I am a week behind in terms of announcing this or discussing this. So delivery. Retailers in Europe and North America are going to start receiving their product on February 23rd. So that is a 2-week delay from the original release date, which was meant to be a global release date. So let's talk about that. And then the rest of the world, and I feel for these people even more, starting March 9th. So another 2-week delay for the rest of the world. So this was not a minor setback, a minor hiccup from the manufacturing partners. We haven't been told what happened, whether there were issues in the factory, whether they had to close, whether they had a fire, for goodness sakes. But it does not look good. In a company right now where Equinox needs every win we can get, especially with the excitement that's come with the release of Seeds of Unity, with the upcoming release of Roots of Corruption, you're getting this buzz, and then we get this downfall. Now, I'm glad they're giving this announcement now. Once again, 1 week out is pretty hard to bear. And then backers. So backers that are getting this are getting theirs Europe and North America on March 2nd. So I love that the stores are still getting their stuff first. So basically, again, 2 weeks later than previously announced. It used to be on February 16th. And the rest of the world, March 16th. ouch, that 4-week delay in terms of impact is really, really hard for a lot of players, a lot of people that have forked out this money up front and are not going to get the benefit to a little bit later. I'm interested to know and discuss a little bit about the impact this has on Roots of Corruption. When is that going to come to us? Is it going to be a shorter season for Seeds of Unity if we're keeping to the previous schedule, or are we going to shift rather than 4-month, 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 basically Skybound Odyssey is going to be 5 months, and then everything else will be 4 months from there. And maybe that means we won't have the problem next Christmas if we're doing a March release rather than a February release. Those are questions that I've got. I don't think are answered right now, but those are valid questions people have. And whether or not people are happy with this in terms of what Equinox is doing to remedy the situation, and does it put us at ease that this will not happen again? Like, production delays do happen. My only thing is, because we're doing a Gamefound, you have to wait for the money to be received before you can then commission the product. It makes it a little bit hard. Maybe the release schedule should be, 2 releases a year rather than 3. Something where they do have a buffer for us to be able to use. Now, the release dates, so the official release dates, I'm just going to keep going through here. February 27th, previously February 23rd. Pre-release will start on February 27th, and just note your store can do a pre-release event whenever they want. You can run these events, even though don't call it a pre-release, you can still run your sealed event. They will get product if they have been part of the Gamefound. That includes some giveaways they can give you, includes basically a deconstructed pre-release kit, which includes, yet again, a unique. So no one will not have a unique. The set availability on Board Game Arena is happening on February 27th, but in order to help people prepare for that, they're still doing a demo deck tournament. That initial demo deck tournament was scheduled for February 8th, which would have been awful here for people that are trying to play in the US and they love football, because that would have been Super Bowl Sunday. It is now delayed February 22nd, so we're seeing everything come out two weeks later. But they haven't stopped the release of the demo decks. They're still making those available on February 12th. And I think that's good, giving people a chance to just get their hands into something new, play it. It is for free for anyone to be able to play that. And note that if you are going to join the demo deck tournaments, we haven't been advised in terms of when that will open up, what partners are going to be involved in that, who will be streaming, what kind of prize support. But if they do what they've done previously, we expect there to be some prize support. We expect there to be some what would I call it? Some casting, and I may even be able to support that like I traditionally do. So to celebrate the Seeds of Unity reveal season, Equinox is organizing an online demo deck tournament. The deck list and details will be revealed next week, so we should expect that basically either today or in the coming days. And the decks will remain available throughout Season 5, perfect for discovering the new set and for new players. And just so you know, you can actually still go into Board Game Arena now and play any of the demo decks that have been provided. So both from Set 1, Set 4, and now will be Set 5 as well. And I do believe that is a good thing. I'm trying to remember. I think Whispers from the Maze was the only set that did not have some level of demo decks available. As always, the tournament is free and open to everyone, with current season rewards up for grab, which is great. So end of Season 4. So Thursday, February 26th will mark the final day of Season 4, Skybound Odyssey. You will now have until 11:59 UTC +1. This is great. They're finally giving us a timestamp to complete your Adventure Pass, and stores will have 1 week to validate their events. Season 4 rewards will be distributed on March 6, 2026. This is a little bit different to the past. If a store doesn't validate in time, it will go through to the next one. Previously, it was like the timestamp, that's it. If the store hadn't validated too late, your rewards went into the next one. I wish that they hadn't done this. I wish they had ended Season 4 as they had previously done, so we would have more time to get the Season 5 Adventure Pass, especially with the changes that are happening with the Adventure Pass, allowing us to be able to get multiple factions. So once you complete your 9 missions or your 9 progressions, you can then move to another faction, get another 9, move to another one, giving us the chance to do that. And I'll also say that gives Equinox some more revenue, because so many of us just want to get our hands on this, not just the digital component, but print on demand as well of these new cards. So, however, to ensure you're not disadvantaged by the production delay of Seeds of Unity, all players will be granted 2 Adventure Pass levels, which is nice. I thank you. They didn't have to do anything, but at the same time, it's nice to set 2. They will be deployed at the start of Season 5 to compensate for the set's 2-week delay. for people that go to the store more than twice a week, then you're not really getting a bang for your buck in terms of getting those progressions. But just note, as you start playing on BGA, you'll now be able to tick over those rewards a little bit quicker on top of those that go in store. I do like that. And if you join our tournament, which is sponsored by Heroes Guide to Asgartha, the Rapid Fire, as well as many other tournaments online, you can get double validation. So you'll get your points for playing a game on BGA, and you'll get points that the store's going to provide you with an adventure pass as well. So I love that we have the ability of doing that, especially in places where the access to face-to-face is very difficult or does not happen more than you would like to participate in terms of that face-to-face. So Roots of Corruption Gamefound campaign. So the Roots of Corruption campaign, which you can already preview on Gamefound, which is absolutely looks amazing. If you've not looked into it, click on the Gamefound link, go have a look. There is so much richness to the change in flavor that's happening, this darkness that so many people are looking forward to, but not just the darkness for the sake of it. There's a great storytelling element to it. So the Gamefound is being postponed accordingly to ensure all backers have enough time to receive their Seeds of Unity order. Assess how you like this. Do you like the game as it's going, the direction they're going? And you will also be able to then make up your mind in terms of whether you want to fulfill anything through the Gamefound campaign. The timeline now that we're looking at is March 3rd. So basically 1 week after the store start getting their product is the reveal season. In terms of what's going to happen, they're going to then launch it on March 10th, and that's the most important date. Then retailers are going to finish their pledge by March 16th. Very, very small window here, only a week to get retailers in there, which in my mind also means that the retailers are probably going to get a little bit of information beforehand, much earlier than maybe the public do. Then on March 18th, the retailer total announcement is going to be revealed. How much have the stores put in? And I love that they're doing that. One of the things that came up in terms of the feedback, and they're learning from Seeds of Unity, is that Roots of Corruption needs to give us much more visibility on this. Not many days, but at least it gives us some days, and then 2 more days, March 20th, to have your campaign end. And then on the other side of this, we're looking at April. So you can do your pledge manager, which will go back to the initial way that they wanted to do it last time, but because of the Bloody Monday announcements, we weren't able to get that. They had to change a few things. But pledge manager means you have throughout April to basically change your order or change a few things. I don't know if it's full orders or just top-ups, but we're going to find out in the coming days. Then in Q2, they'll do the manufacturing. Within Q2, they're also going to do some shipping and the order processing so that we can get the product between June and July. No specific dates. I do hope they firm that up. I like the idea of firming up as much as possible, especially when we're putting in money almost, if you look at it from March, 3 to 4 months potentially before you get anything in your hand. And I think that is a hard ask of people and the community. I wonder if they'll provide some ability of being able to do partial payments. I know that stores may be able to do that where they put in their money, and maybe you as an individual, if that's not something you can fork out, go through the store pledge and to be able to get something through them, and then maybe you only have to put a 10% or 20% deposit. On the other side, I'm just going to go back a little bit here. One thing I do hope that we see in these campaigns is that you are rewarded for actually putting in money early, for pledging early and sticking to that pledge. Now, one thing that I'll say, because you have the pledge manager at the end, if you do reduce some of that, you do not get the benefits of pledging early. That way, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You really have to fork your money at saying, I'm going to back this in. And backing early should have some level of benefits. So retail pledge opens on Tuesday, March 3rd. The Gamefound campaign again on March 10th. And by March 20th, the Gamefound campaign will end. The other thing that they talked about is the winter, spring, and summer season finals are not affected by these changes and remain scheduled for their previously announced periods. They never gave dates for those, so that makes it a little bit difficult. And I'll do a video in the coming days about my experience in watching these players on February 1st and February 2nd go out and get the first 4 qualifying spots in the coming few days. I think it was a fantastic tournament. Lots of people, almost 200 people joined in, and we had our first 4 individuals qualify for Worlds, which is great. They haven't told us whether or not these individuals are going to get basically free travel and accommodation to Worlds. I hope they do. I hope they make that announcement soon, because these people are now sitting in this quandrum not knowing what's going to happen. But This is probably the most important part of what they announce, and I do want to make sure I take a little bit of time to give you my thoughts on here. Seeds of Unity patch note. Our most ambitious patch note to date is scheduled to accompany Seeds of Unity. To help you familiarize yourselves with the many updates, it will be published shortly before the set's release on February 10th, tomorrow. It will then take effect on February 12th. With this patch note, our goal is to refresh the current meta and allow you to experiment with your cards from year 2. When I read this, I wrote in the Masubi, does this mean that we're going to get the banning of cards in set 1? Or are we going to get mass bannings for the first year of the game's release? That means set 1, set 2, and set 3. I have been told, as through members of the Masubi, that is not the case. It is not about this physical banning straight away. Now, once again, it's us just talking. Until I get confirmation tomorrow on what that change will be, we can continue to speculate. And what it's actually caused is some disruption in the marketplace, where there is less transactions occurring. There are more people willing to list their set 1 cards at a discount so they can at least get some value if they're going to sell them now rather than later. For people that were looking to sell now, they're like not getting the bites that they wanted. The prices come down for those. And I think this is, while understandable, it's frustrating because part of what makes the game grow is the ability of being able to do that third-party exchange, right? I hope personally that rather than mass bannings of set 1, and I'll use set 1 as the example of where there are a lot of issues, all this is saying is when it comes out, we're going to remove some of the restrictions and maybe some of the cards rather than all the uniques from set 1 to make sure that the game diversifies. I also consider what they've said with the previous announcement, the mid-season patch that was released a couple of months ago, a month ago, that maybe Sigismar, maybe Traced, maybe even Kojo, that wasn't part of the original patch notes, are getting impacted. I want there to be change at the top. How do you make these other heroes meta relevant is that in many cases you remove the ability of these heroes to use certain things. I don't know if you need to nerf them, but can you remove some of the major players or attributes associated to certain heroes to rebalance it? And I think it's a good thing. I know people get upset if it's the uniques, but you can remove the rares and the commons. They are so cheap that we really cannot complain. Anyway, we thank you infinitely for your patience and support, and we cannot wait to see you opening your Seeds of Unity booster packs, and that is going to happen, unfortunately, not for another 3 weeks. But what I do want to go through is I do want there to be changes. I want it to be balanced. I personally don't like the ability of releasing something on February 10th to take effect on February 12th. I like the idea that you get some time to change. Imagine you're going to your local or you're doing a tournament, one of your stores has actually set up a tournament. You've been preparing and planning for a certain thing and you only have 2 days to make a change. I hope they get into a point where Equinox gives us 2 weeks. Like release it early enough, like they've said, to familiarize yourself with the updates, but be able to practice them and prepare for it with more than just 2 days notice. Anyway, that's me for today. Looking forward to providing some more content in the coming days. I know there's a lot that's going to happen. We've had the reveal of all the cards of Seeds of Unity. I'm excited to be able to go through that with Nick. We'll be releasing those videos over the next few weeks. The good thing is we're going to get that done with our thoughts, good and bad takes, before the release of Seeds of Unity in the public forum. Both Nick and I have also been able to share our own previews. I know some people were a little upset that we get 2, but we are 2 different people. We run 2 different elements of our channel, and we are excited to be able to play with these cards when they become available. I hope you're excited too, and I hope you're getting some more of your friends, your comrades to be able to join in the game, because this is a fantastic game, and we're seeing a lot of cool changes and cool dynamics coming, not just with Seeds of Unity, but looking beyond the horizon to Roots of Corruption as well. And on that, I bid you adieu.